Imagine your ships burning, your countrymen screaming, their blood turning the sea crimson. This was the nightmare Rome faced, again and again, thanks to Carthage. Not just skilled sailors, but the first professional navy history had ever seen. Born from desperation, forged in war, Carthage's naval power threatened to extinguish the rising Roman star. For centuries, the narrative has been carefully constructed, a tale of Roman triumph and inevitable dominance. But beneath the veneer of established history lies a truth, buried in the sands of time, suppressed by the victors. We've been told about Rome's legions, its infrastructure, its enduring legacy. But what about the power that almost extinguished the Roman flame? North Africa. A land of vast resources and strategic importance. Here, a civilization arose, forged in trade and ambition. Carthage. A name whispered in Roman nightmares. These were not mere merchants, they were master navigators, shrewd diplomats, and, crucially, architects of naval power the world had never witnessed. Before Rome dreamt of controlling the seas, Carthage ruled them. They didn't just stumble upon supremacy. Carthage built the first professional navy in history. Paid sailors, state-of-the-art warships, and a relentless pursuit of maritime dominance. This wasn't citizen conscripts rowing for glory, these were highly trained professionals, dedicated to Carthage's protection and expansion. And by the 3rd century BC, their fleet was the undisputed king of the Mediterranean. Consider this, in 264 BC, the First Punic War erupted. A clash of titans. And for decades, Carthage held its own. Hannibal Barca, a name synonymous with military genius, nearly brought Rome to its knees. He marched elephants over the Alps, inflicting devastating defeats. Yet, even with Hannibal's tactical brilliance on land, the sea remained a Carthaginian domain. But here's the hidden truth, the detail conveniently omitted from the Roman chronicles. At the Battle of Drepana in 249 BC, the Carthaginian navy, under the command of Hannibal, utterly annihilated the Roman fleet. 123 Roman warships were destroyed, and over 20,000 Roman sailors perished. This single victory almost crippled Rome permanently. A North African power, centuries ago, nearly erased Rome from the map. Let that sink in. Why it matters now. The story of Carthage, like many African triumphs, feels distant. A faded glory. But these are not just dusty relics of a forgotten past. They are echoes that reverberate through our present. They are lessons, inspirations, and perhaps most importantly, correctives to a narrative that has systematically diminished the African contribution to global civilization. Consider, for instance, the Mali Empire. This wasn't some tribal gathering. This was a sophisticated, interconnected society that flourished centuries before the so-called Age of Exploration. In 1300 AD, its GDP, adjusted for inflation, dwarfed the economies of England and France combined. This wasn't based on simple agriculture or resource extraction. The Mali Empire controlled vital trade routes in gold, copper, and salt, and its scholars were renowned throughout the Islamic world. Think of Timbuktu, a city that, during the reign of Musa, boasted universities that attracted students from across Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. These were centers of learning, predating many European institutions by centuries. They housed vast libraries, preserving and expanding knowledge in mathematics, astronomy, law, and medicine. These achievements weren't anomalies. They were symptoms of a continent brimming with ingenuity and power. So, why does this matter now? Because understanding the true scope of African history allows us to challenge the stereotypes, the prejudices, and the systemic inequalities that persist today. It reminds us that innovation, economic power, and intellectual prowess are not the exclusive domains of any one race or region. And it proves that to leave Africa out of the global narrative is not simply an oversight, it is a deliberate act of historical erasure. And here's where it gets interesting. Remember that legendary Malian emperor, Musa, known for his extravagant pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. Well, that pilgrimage was so lavish, so saturated with gold, that it single-handedly devalued the metal in Cairo and across the Middle East for over a decade. Talk about economic influence. So, the next time you see a modern navy protecting trade routes, remember it all started with Carthage. A nation built on the ingenuity and resilience of Africans, a nation that almost toppled Rome. And that's just one tiny piece of our history. Imagine what else is out there, waiting to be rediscovered. If you're passionate about uncovering and connecting with Africa's rich past, and understanding its influence on the world, then join our insider membership at pornoafric.com/membership.html for only $9 a month. You'll gain access to exclusive content, in-depth analysis, and a community of like-minded individuals. Africa's story is your story. It's a legacy that empowers us, informs us, and inspires us to build a brighter future. Let's explore it together. High voltage follow, subscribe and like at Panafric for daily Africa plus money plus wisdom.